farm, family, community. This is Midwest Farm Weekly.
Good morning, I'm Elaine Wells, and thank you for spending part of your day with us here at Midwest Farm Weekly. Getting to your news headlines, the latest USDA report on agricultural prices in Wisconsin paints a mixed picture for November 2023. While some crops like hay saw price increases compared to both October and the previous year, others like corn and oats continued their downward trend. Corn averaged $4.40 a bushel in November. That's a plunge of nearly $1.70 over last year. Soybeans offered a little positive news for the state, trending 40 cents higher compared to October prices. Hay is also a bright spot, with farmers making around $184 per ton. This is a jump of $16 over last month and a nice increase from 2022 as well. Dairy farmers saw a small increase for November, with all milk prices averaging $19.80 per hundredweight, $4.20 though below last year at this time. U.S. ethanol production shot higher last week. Stocks that is, surged higher, logging the highest production since October of 2021. That rise can be tied to producers trying to get ahead of the holiday slowdown. The EPA has pushed the White House to approve a rule that would allow expanded sales of higher ethanol gasoline in certain Midwest states, including Wisconsin. It would allow for year-round sales of E15. This holiday season, perhaps you gave or received some high-quality cotton sheets or clothing. You might be surprised to learn that not all products are what they claim to be. CBS's Ben Tracy shows us how the industry can now trace a single fiber of cotton around the world.
In California's Central Valley, it's harvest time for a prized crop.
What kind of cotton is this?
This is Pima cotton.
So this is the good stuff.
This is as good as it gets.
Derek Acevedo is Chief Operating Officer at Bowles Farming Company. Once the cotton leaves the field, it's baled and trucked out to be ginned. It likely then heads overseas to countries like India or China to be made into shirts, towels, and bed sheets.
In between the farm and the consumer, there's this messy middle.
And sometimes that middle can be more than messy. It can be troubling.
Oh yes, there's still a lot of bad players. Many of the garments in stores are a blend, and some labeled 100% Pima contain no Pima at all.
There's also concerns about cotton from China's Xinjiang region made with forced labor getting into the supply chain. It's now banned for import to the U.S.
There's terrible conditions in a lot of the factories. I think there's a lot more focus now on identifying what's going on in your supply chain.
So this low-tech industry has found a high-tech solution. Here in California, the cotton is now sprayed with a fine mist.
It's almost like a barcode on cotton.
Exactly.
It can trace tiny strands of cotton from the field to the finished product. Some are tested at this lab in New York.
The DNA technology is there to help keep the products honest. Products made in America should be American when they leave the U.S., and they should be American when they come back into the U.S.
I certainly think it is a game changer. I don't think you can really say the word sustainability and mean it unless you have traceability, because it can get to the source of where the product's coming from.
It helps consumers know what they're buying and where it was made. And for Derek Acevedo, DNA has helped clean up that messy middle.
I think one of the most overlooked things in agriculture, and especially in cotton, is the technology that goes into it.
For Eye on America, Ben Tracy, Los Banos, California.
Thanks, Ben. In Wisconsin supply chain news, Johnsonville has acquired Denmark-based Salm Partners. Salm produces fully cooked sausage and premium hot dogs from its 2 production plants. They have worked with Johnsonville in the past. Johnsonville says, due in part to this new acquisition, they will close the Meadowside plant in Sheboygan County by the end of 2024. They are offering bonuses to the 390 workers at that plant if they stay on at least through June. They do anticipate keeping some of those workers on at other Johnsonville locations. We are now in the application window for a number of grants aimed at Wisconsin farmers and food processors. The Department of Agriculture, Trade and Consumer Protection has a number of opportunities for businesses to grow with the help of dollars from the state. One of those categories is the Specialty Crop Block Grant, and it's aimed at people growing fruits, vegetables, tree nuts, nursery crops, herbs, and more. There are also grants open right now to improve the infrastructure of our food supply chain, including helping processors add capacity, storage, and improve their transportation and distribution. We have full details on applying in the Midwest Farm section of wearegreenbay.com. Grants like these are helping Wisconsin businesses grow, and they're giving consumers access to food produced closer to their dinner table. I spoke with our state's agriculture secretary about these success stories.
This is a great example of how just a little bit of investment from the state as a resource can help a business expand, modernize, find new opportunities. And it wasn't that long ago that we were hearing that farmers had to wait almost up to 2 years to get an animal in for processing. And because of the funding that's been invested here at the state level, again, cooperation between Governor Evers and the legislature, and dollars that have come from the federal level for different types of programming have been really helpful in addressing those supply chain issues. So plants have been able to modernize, expand, and that waiting list for people to get animals in for processing is shrunk, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing for the supply chain. It's a good thing for farmers and consumers.
Applications are now also open to find the next Alice in Dairyland. Women have until the end of this month to submit their resume. I spoke with the current Alice, Ashley Hagenow, about her experience so far and who would make a good candidate.
As I reflect on the first about 6 months of serving in the role of the 76th Alice in Dairyland, is how every day is truly something different. Like, I can tell you, when I look at my schedule for the week or the month or what's upcoming, every day is something different, whether it's engaging with media, getting into classrooms to share more about Wisconsin agriculture with kindergarten age students all the way to high school and beyond. Maybe it's traveling on a business and industry visit to meet with producers and processors across Wisconsin who are focused on producing high quality agricultural products. Maybe it's, especially in the summer, visiting fairs and festivals dedicated to agriculture.
Women who want to apply have to be at least 21, but there is no age limit. You also need to be a resident of Wisconsin and meet the criteria for previous experience related to marketing, educating, or communicating about agriculture.
I think anyone who has a passion for the agricultural industry, who loves storytelling and really using their communication and education skills to storytell on behalf of agriculture, is the perfect candidate to apply for the role of Alice in Dairyland. Some other skills that I think of when I think of a candidate for Alice in Dairyland include being curious about Wisconsin agriculture, being open to exploring all that the state of Wisconsin has to offer when it comes to agriculture, and being able to ask really great questions of how our food is produced, how things work when it comes to the industry of agriculture. But what it really comes down to me for is having that love for the industry, having those stories to tell about maybe having grown up in agriculture, or stories to tell about family and friends, and really just being able to serve as that connection to the industry of agriculture for anyone that you come in contact with throughout your year of serving as Alice in Dairyland.
Qualified applicants will undergo a preliminary interview in February, and then the top candidates move on to the finals held in Door County this May, and I am honored to be emceeing that event. Hope to see you there.
Good morning. I'm Storm Team 5 meteorologist Alexis Janiak. 2023 made its mark as the third official warmest year on record. Top two were 1931 and 2012, tied with an average high temperature of 49.4 degrees. This past year, we recorded an average high temperature of 48.3 degrees. Now, it's already January. This is typically our coldest and snowiest month. Normally, we see an average high temperature of just over 25 degrees, average low temperature just over 11 degrees. Not too much liquid precipitation, so rainfall to come through, maybe just more than 1.25 inches. But snowfall, we average usually quite a bit. Typically, we see just over 14 inches. Now, as of January 1st, we are still dry, not as bad as it was this past summer and through early fall. But as of January 1st, the drought monitor shows that we are below average for precipitation for this month by roughly 1/2 inch. Still an extreme drought the further south and west you go towards northeastern Iowa. Not too much snow has come through as of Thursday as we've begun this year, a trace just for the season so far. So that began January 1st. Typically, for this time of year, we should have only seen about 1.4 inches just from January 1st through now, so not the entire winter. And at this time last year, we just saw a 0.2 inches come through. So not a lot, but more snow is still to come. Right now, this is our GFS model showing quite a bit of snow tracking through southern Illinois throughout the next 10 days. This is so far out, so easily this track could shift north, it could go away, but right now it's looking that we do get a little bit of snow to come through and a little bit of rain. We could see anywhere from 1/2 of an inch up to an inch. Again, this track is showing the GFS model. Other models are showing different things, so this could track further north, giving us more precipitation. Now, we will likely see more rain than snow this weekend and through early next week, and that is thanks to how warm our temperatures will be. Notice, though, as we head to the end of our next work week, temperatures drop back to below average next Saturday and Sunday, high temperature at 19 degrees. Stay with us. More Ag News coming up after the break.
Welcome back. A collection that began decades ago now has more than 600 dairy items. John Lauritsen explains how a butter museum ended up in the basement of a bank in Minnesota.
None of the roads are straight up here because they're always winding around the lakes.
Just east of Fargo, North Dakota is the town of Vergus. You'll know you're there when you see the giant loon. In fact, the town's celebration is called Loony Days.
And you call it Loony Days?
Yes.
Now, is that a reflection of the loon in town, or are people here a little bit loony?
Well, it could be both, huh?
Julie Bruin is the mayor, and she'll tell you what happens in Vergus stays in Vergus. That includes a museum stuffed full of dairy artifacts.
We probably don't even know what's all in here. It just kept expanding and expanding.
Julie's dad, Gordon Dahlgren, started this collection in the 1950s. He was the bank president back then, but had grown up on a farm and missed the cows. So he started collecting oddities that reminded him of his childhood.
This is the one he bought at an auction sale that got him going.
It began with butter churns, then cream separators, then butter boxes that represent Minnesota creameries of the past. When Gordon ran out of room at home, he moved his collection to the bank basement.
Anything De La Valle. He loved De La Valle.
His collection has churned out some doozies, including a seated milker that's well over a century old and probably made for a good cardio workout back in the day.
So you would sit and then move your feet.
Good. Can you try it out for us?
Yeah, right.
Just through the years, just started collecting a few things here, a few things there.
Lee Dahlgren is Julie's brother, and he remembers going with his dad to auctions to pick up butter and milk memorabilia. Sometimes they would take road trips cross-country and treasure hunt along the way.
We would ride with him, and you never took the interstate to Arizona there and back. It was through small towns, finding antique shops.
And they'd haul back whatever novelties caught their father's eye, including a 90-year-old wash machine. At one point, Maytag washing machines had an attachment that would allow you to churn butter in between loads of laundry. Just before Gordon passed away in 2007, he made a cow to be used in Vergus parades, and is still used to this day. It's a sense of pride for his family, and they're happy to spread the word about a time that was.
People come in here and, oh, I remember that when I was on the farm, or that. And then you get the younger generations are like, really, did they do that back in the day?
In Vergus, John Lauritsen, WCCO News.
Are you kicking yourself for any of those things you maybe got rid of over the years? We turn now to our Sustainably Speaking segment. Time to recognize businesses that are committed to a greener future. Local 5's Ryan Kudish brings you to one business honored for its recent changes.
Think about it, and all it takes is a minute to do something more sustainable than not. It makes good business sense to do that.
Stephen DeBaker is the owner and aquaculturist at Trout Springs Winery and Branch River Trout Hatchery in Greenleaf. He says in years past, his business was not as sustainable as it is now.
So on or about 2018, we started doing some research on trying to improve our sustainability, because we had been working for years with coal and wood and fuel oil, and basically spending about $10,000 a month, which was not sustainable.
He eventually found the Wisconsin Sustainable Business Council based in Madison. This organization helps advance businesses to more sustainable practices. After filling out the applications and making the necessary improvements, his business was awarded Green Master level distinction in 2021. DeBaker says he had to make a good amount of changes.
We reduced our carbon footprint by about 68% from where we used to be. We put in geothermal for both the winery and the home, which cut our heating and cooling costs tremendously. We are sustainable with our vineyard because of carbon sequestration, just by proper land techniques.
DeBaker goes on to say he also has chickens and swans on the property. The chickens consume bugs that roam around, and the swans eat up algae in the water, all of which reduces the need to spray chemicals. DeBaker leaves us with one lasting point to remember.
Go outside of your comfort zone just a little bit to look at things that you might be able to do that will help improve our environment. You'll gain that recognition certainly by people in Madison and your customers too.
And that's Sustainably Speaking. I'm Ryan Kudish, Local 5 News.
If you know a business that participates in sustainable practices, let us know. Ryan might just feature them on his next Sustainably Speaking. It is a taste of Wisconsin featuring 20 chef stations. Stephanie is here on behalf of Brown County Dairy Promotions, and we welcome Amber from Stadium View with a beautiful, let's call it breakfast today, shall we? Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Stephanie, introduce us to this event or remind our viewers if they haven't been in the past.
Yeah, so it's the 9th annual Taste of Wisconsin that we usually hold somewhere in Brown County. This year it's at Stadium View, like you said, and we like to showcase Wisconsin commodities through various restaurants, chefs, what have it, and even some drinkeries in the area that get to come and showcase something off their menu. And then it's $20 a ticket.
Okay.
We get sponsors, we get anybody who wants to come and have a good meal, we get raffle prizes ready for people to win, and you get to go from station to station, very casual, enjoy these delights, and go home with a full belly.
And we need to get our tickets now. This event is coming up in February, but I know it sells out.
Yes, last year we sold out. We did move to a bigger area this year, so we can hopefully sell a couple more tickets. But yeah, definitely grab your tickets as you can. Tables are filling up, and we're really excited to throw on a great event again this year.
Amber, if people come for nothing other than these ribs, you are known for these. These are a hot commodity in the community.
We are. We no longer have them on our regular menu, but you can get them in our banquet hall.
Okay.
The banquet hall is newly remodeled, and we are doing a lot of bookings and keeping that banquet hall full. So they're amazing. You got to try them.
Talk about supporting an event like this, being the host site for it. Why is it important to network with other Wisconsin businesses and products?
Yeah, we were there last year, and we were very excited to be chosen this year to show not only our hall, but just be a part of it. We love doing stuff not only locally, but obviously for Wisconsin in general.
Stephanie, the funds that are raised at an event like this, talk about how your team then uses them throughout the year.
Yeah, so it's really exciting to host this and also our biggest other fundraisers, Breakfast on the Farm. We use these funds to get back out in the community and do agriculture education to schools. We work big time with the Green Bay YMCA with field trips. We booked double the amount of farm field trips this year for Brown County farms than we have in any other year.
Wow.
So we've really been thriving. We are now offering a scholarship to high school seniors this year. That's something new. So we definitely are bringing that back into the community and getting out there and just bringing awareness to agriculture in general and how important it is in our everyday life.
I was just going to ask where your passion for this comes from.
Yeah, so I'm from a dairy farm, grew up on a dairy farm, still live on a farm. We're not milking, but it's instilled in my bones, I guess you could say. I come from that farming background, and I know how important it is to get out in the cities, not just in the more rural schools, bring that education and remind people where food comes from. It goes a long ways from the field into the store, so we like to share every single part of that process with everyone.
Ends up on a plate looking gorgeous like this. Obviously, you can't tell us the secret, but I'm looking at, these are a meaty rib. You said that's kind of the key.
They very much are, and they're fall off the bone. It is a pork rib, too. They're amazing.
Delicious. Now, if we're looking to keep up with other events that Brown County Dairy Promo is working on, what's the best way to do that? Also, where we get tickets for this?
Yeah, so you can get tickets. Go to our Facebook page. It definitely is up to date, as long as we have just a website, browncountydairypromotions.com. We sell tickets at Cornett Farm Supply Supply and Greenleaf. Great. Also, anybody from the board, you can just contact them, and then Eventbrite as well. At the door, if we have tickets available, last year we didn't. We sold out before, but at the door they will be $25 versus the $20 beforehand.
Easy way, you know, look ahead to Valentine's Day. I'm just saying this would make a perfect
yeah.
date night for that. We want to push ahead to breakfast on the farm as well because the need for volunteers is already ramping up.
Yes, yep. We're very excited to announce that Wheezy Brother Farms, just outside of Greenleaf, is hosting this year. So we're expecting, as long as the weather's great, to have probably our biggest turnout yet. So we're really excited.
Fantastic.
Looking forward to that.
How do we get in touch with you if we are interested in helping make that event a success?
We will be sharing the sign up for especially the volunteers off of our social media and of on our website.
Perfect. Well, February 6th for the Brown County Taste of Wisconsin at Stadium View Bar and Banquet Hall in Green Bay. Thanks for being here, you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.